A Lubbock restaurant known for its chicken and catfish is open again after it was forced to shut its doors for 24 hours to clean up after its latest health inspection. Plus, a popular steakhouse is at the bottom of the list.
KCBD News Channel 11's Christy Harton dishes out the details in this week's Food for Thought. Christy?
Karen and Abner, health inspectors had a lot on their plate this week. They inspected more than 60 local food establishments and found a mix of good and bad. We start with the violations. River Smith's at 406 Avenue Q was cited with 35 violations. They were forced to close for 24 hours and had to provide a corrective action plan before they could reopen, which they did. Here's a look at their priority violations. Raw bacon was above ready-to-eat margarine. Rice and brisket did not have a date mark. There was black debris on the ice machine chute. Ice buckets were soiled with a brown substance. Dented cans were stored with good cans. An employee handled raw ground beef while wearing gloves, then handled ready-to-eat buns without changing gloves. An employee working with raw ground beef changed gloves to then work with ready-to-eat foods, but did not wash their hands. Employees did not wash their hands for at least 20 seconds. Employees were using their clean, bare hands to manually operate the faucet handles. Disposable paper towels should be used to avoid recontamination. There were no paper towels. An employee used a cloth towel to dry their hands. A hand sink was blocked. A hand sink was not properly draining and overflowing onto the floor. The drain line for the 3-compartment sink was not properly installed. This can cause backflow issues. Gasoline was stored on top of disposable gloves. An unknown pink liquid was in a spray bottle. A smoker used for on-site food prep was stored outdoors without a protective barrier. The inspector notes, due to the nature and the number of the violations, active managerial control was not observed. Again, all violations have been corrected and the restaurant was allowed to reopen. Logan's Roadhouse at 6251 Slide Road had 17 violations. Here are their priority violations. Multiple food items in 2 different reach-in coolers were above the safe temperature of 41 degrees. Those coolers were not maintaining a temperature at or below 41. Mashed potatoes and gravy were not at least 135 degrees. A reach-in warmer at the cook line was not maintaining a temperature of at least 135 degrees. Several food items were held past their use-by date, including pulled pork that was more than a week expired. More than 30 clean plates in the cook line had food debris on them. The sanitizing solution in the dishwasher was not strong enough. A floor sink at the dishwasher was not draining and water was flooding the floor. An employee working did not wash their hands before putting on gloves. There was ice inside a hand sink, and it was heavily brown due to tea being dumped into the hand sink. Hand sinks are for hand washing only to prevent cross-contamination. The report shows most of the violations were corrected at the time of the inspection. Taqueria Guadalajara at 1925 19th Street had 19 violations. Several food items were not cold enough. Raw ground beef was stored above ready-to-eat tortillas. Raw chicken was above raw beef. Multiple food items did not have a date mark. An employee washed their hands while wearing gloves. An employee washed their hands for only 5 seconds. The minimum time is 20 seconds. An employee handled ready-to-eat tortillas with their bare hands. There were no paper towels at the hand sinks. There were scrub pads and spoons in the bakery hand sink. Hand sinks are for hand washing only. All violations have been corrected. Now to the good news. Here's a look at this week's top performers. Chili's Grill and Bar at 5805 Slide, Whataburger at 8226 University, and the Whataburger at 7201 Quaker, and Short and Sweets Bakery at 2610 Salem Avenue. To check out all the violations in this week's Food for Thought, just go to our website at kcbd.com. Karen and Abner, back to you.
Thank you, Christy.